Rush was back on the goal standard. 30 goals last season, and he's already got his tally this season off the mark in the Cannon League. It's now Liverpool 1, Wolves 1, and really we have got a second half in store for you here. Temperatures that I think would be more at home on the Costa del Sol, and a green surface that wouldn't look out of place at the Crucible for a World Snooker Championship. Yes, this is the opening day, and it's an opening day that until half-time anyway, Wolves had enjoyed. But now I wonder just how the Wolves supporters will react to that very, very early goal at the start of the second half. Significantly, the director's box, we are sitting on the front row of that director's box, and the home director's side, I hasten to tell you, and that was completely empty when Ian Rush scored that goal. So early did it come in the second half. But the Liverpool director's contingent and manager, Joe Fagan, well, he was in his seat to see Ian Rush plant the ball firmly into the back of the net, having sent Pender and then Burridge the wrong way. So it's Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. And quickly through the two sides, Wolves have got John Burridge in goal. The back four is John Humphrey, John Pender, Alan Dodd and Jeff Palmer. In midfield, Gordon Smith, Dale Rudge and Peter Daniel. And up front, it's Mel Eves, Billy Kellock and Andy Gray. Liverpool, they have got Bruce Grobbelaar in goal. The back four of Phil Neal, Mark Lawrenson, Alan Hansen and Alan Kennedy. In midfield, it's Sammy Lee, Graham Souness, Craig Johnson and Kenny Dalglish. And up front, Mike Robinson, the new Mo from Brighton, and Ian Rush. And the two substitutes, by the way, Tony Towner, the newcomer for Wolves, he's on the bench, and Steve Nicol is the Liverpool substitute. And Liverpool, since the penalty in the second minute of the first half, they've been coming forward all the time, but until the 30th second of that second half, they really didn't look as though they were going to penetrate that Wolves defence. But they came out and they caught Wolves a little bit cold, perhaps. Jimmy Armfield sitting alongside me.
Yes, just as Wolves caught them in the first half, but I would imagine Joe Fagan will remember his first half-time team talk, because it certainly worked. And I think what he would have said to his team at half-time is that really you've got to G yourselves up. I thought Liverpool played a lot of possession football, but there was no real penetration in the game. The first penetrated pass came through the middle, Rush fastened onto it, sidestepped Pender, put the ball into the empty net as Burridge came out. Liverpool now look to be in full cry.
Yes, they're attacking as we watch from left to right, and Mike Robinson on the ball on the right-hand side, gets across into the far post, unmarked is there, Kenny Dalglish, ball off the crossbar, back to Ian Rush, that one cleared off the line, Burridge gets the thumb to it, and he manages to clear the lines. My word, what a moment there then for Mike Robinson, Kenny Dalglish and then Ian Rush. Dalglish's header off the bar, Rush's shot off the line, and Burridge coming sailing in with a right cross that did well, and the ball out for a throw-in quickly taken. Souness back to Sammy Lee. Liverpool looking a lot more dangerous in the opening moments of this second half. Cross from Craig Johnson, beaten down by Gordon Smith. The ball out and behind for a corner kick on this near side. That is the Liverpool right, which Sammy Lee will take. Yes, I wonder what they put in the tea in the Liverpool dressing room at half-time. They'll be asking for a consignment of it wherever they go in the First Division this season, as Sammy Lee prepares to take the corner kick in the sunshine. Crosses, but that is very, very easy indeed for John Burridge. Clasps the ball to his chest, and the danger is cleared as the defenders move upfield.
Yes, I think this is a very important time too for Wolves, just back out of the second division. Now the pressure is all on them. It all went well for them in the first half when they had the tonic of the early goal from Jeff Palmer. But now Liverpool look to be in full cry, and the pressure's going to be on. And then Graham Hawkins will see now what his defence is made of.
Well, Liverpool building in midfield, and while they do that, we can just break away for some more scores from Rob Bonnet.
Yes, just the one score at Portman Road. Ipswich have gone 2-0 up against Tottenham. The second goal scored by Eric.
Since he played in the First Division, now he's watching his side take on the league champions. What a great day for him and everyone concerned here at Molineux. And not one of Liverpool's happiest hunting grounds either, I must tell you, because they have lost here on their last 3 visits of Liverpool. And it looked as though they were going to make it 4 on the run in the first half, but I wonder what will unfold in the next 40 minutes or so. We've had some 6.5 minutes of this second half. It's Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. The goal scorers, Palmer from the penalty spot for Wolves in the second minute, and Rush in this second half for Liverpool. Ball on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Dale Rudge, a young teenager, with a shot that was rising all the time and almost went into row X of the stand behind Bruce Grobbelaar's goal away to our left. So not one of Liverpool's greatest grounds this, but they did win Bob Paisley's first title here, you may remember, way back in 1976, and that day they relegated Wolves to the second division. So they have their happy memories here as well. Joe Fagan now, the man in control, watching as Phil Neal pumps a long ball forward which Michael Robinson will chase, but so too will the Wolves central defender John Pender, and he wins the race, lays it back to John Burridge in that Wolves goal.
Yes, and you mentioned John Pender. I thought he had an outstanding first half in the heart of Wolves' defence when Liverpool were putting the pressure on. I lost count of the times that he cleared the ball in the penalty area. I watched him come through the second division last year. He's a strong player, this boy.
Well, Wolves trying to get something going at the other end now, and on ball forward from Andy Gray, I think it was, in the centre circle, just catching 3 or 4 Wolves players offside. So Liverpool have a free kick midway inside their own half, which they've taken quickly, and Alan Kennedy on the ball. Long ball forward from him, and that has been a feature of the Liverpool play in the opening 45 minutes. Long balls forward, which Michael Robinson and Ian Rush have been asked to chase, and they've been willing workers. I must say that until that goal from Rush, they really didn't look like breaking down the Wolves' defence in this match, although they have done that now, and of course it is 1-1. As Neil tries to get Dalglish away inside the penalty area, but the fullback Jeff Palmer, scorer of the Wolves penalty in the first half, just plays it back to John Burridge in his goal. Burridge just waits, the Wolves player of the year incidentally, the trophy presented before the match, and then kicks long down centre field. Andy Gray underneath it, and he gets a good ball away too to Mel Eves, last season's leading goal scorer. A bit of a thorn in the Liverpool side in the first half. But that danger was cleared by Alan Kennedy, only as far as Humphrey though. Good ball from Humphrey over to the left-hand side to Gray, chests it down, shot from Andy Gray. And the ball bouncing off the legs of Phil Neal and behind for a corner kick.
Yes, Eddie, and I think it's worth mentioning too for our listener at home that the Liverpool defence under pressure, particularly to high balls, has looked vulnerable. Wolves have been knocking long balls into Andy Gray in particular, and with this type of cross, Liverpool has looked a little bit unusually, shall we say, precarious at the back.
Well, the corner has been taken. Oh, Grobbelaar's dropped it almost at the feet of Andy Gray, and he managed to get it at the second attempt and just knock it away from the Scottish international striker. My word, that was Bruce Grobbelaar at his worst. Still, he managed to clear the danger, and he set Liverpool away at the other end almost immediately. Robinson turns the ball square to Souness, and Souness back to Sammy Lee. Lee then into midfield to Craig Johnson, just outside the Wolves penalty area. Shot from Johnson. The ball, well, Johnson claiming it went off a Wolves leg. The referee will have none of it, and that will be a Wolves goal kick. And that was real danger for Liverpool as that corner came across. Grobbelaar missed it almost completely. I think he got one hand to it, managed to palm it down almost into the path of Andy Gray, and then Jimmy, he recovered just in time and scooped it off his foot.
Yes, well, of course, it was a difficult cross for him to come for. I thought he was going to punch it at first, actually, Eddie, but he chose to catch it, and he made a mess of it.
10 minutes of play gone. Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. Both sides looking for more. Wolves at this moment on the attack with Mel Eves. Eves putting Grobbelaar under some pressure right on his own goal line. Grobbelaar doing well to get a long kick downfield with the left foot, and underneath it John Humphrey, the full-back, his header forward lands at the feet of Craig Johnson, and indeed Johnson just can't control it. The ball out of play over on that far side for a Wolves throw, taken quickly. Then a long ball downfield again, looking for Gray in the air, and he does well, does Andy Gray, with the balls upstairs. Nods it back to Billy Kellock. Kellock, though, beaten by sheer weight of numbers, and Craig Johnson content to hook it out into that marvellous stand over there on the far side. But, well, it's quite well populated this afternoon for the visit of the league champions. 1 or 2 empty seats around, but a good crowd for Wolves on this, the opening day. 11 minutes gone, Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. Wolves on the attack. They have a throw on the far side, that's their right, taken by Smith. Long throw from him, but straight into the arms of goalkeeper Bruce Grobbelaar, and some more scores.
Yes, at Highbury, Arsenal have gone 2-1 up against Luton. McDermott, the scorer there of their second goal. And at Selhurst Park, Manchester City have taken now a 2-0 lead against Crystal Palace. Derek Parlane, the scorer of their second. Just to run down the other featured matches, Manchester United 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Ipswich 2, Tottenham 0, Watford 0, Coventry City 1, and Portsmouth 0, Middlesbrough 1.
12 minutes of this game gone in the second half. Wolves 1, Liverpool 1 is the latest score, and Wolves have a free kick midway inside their own half of the field at the moment for an offside decision. And you know, it's interesting to note, I think, that Liverpool haven't won a league match since April the 9th on Grand National morning, when they beat Swansea at Anfield, and indeed they took only 2 points from the last 21 that were at stake in the First Division last season, and that adds up to 9 games in all on British soil that Liverpool have not recorded a victory. That includes the 2 games against Manchester United pre-season. Wolves coming forward again now, over on the far side. Cross coming in, but into no man's land really. Phil Neal able to chest that ball down, bring it under control, and then lay a short ball out to Sammy Lee on the right-hand side. Long ball forward again from Lee, looking for Souness, but underneath it is Alan Dodd, and he lays it back to John Burridge in goal.
Some hope for Spurs fans at Portman Road. Spurs have got a goal back against Ipswich. Steve Archibald the scorer. It's Ipswich 2, Tottenham 1.
Wolves in possession over on the far side. Humphrey, his long ball forward, goes only to the feet of Alan Kennedy. He leaves it for Craig Johnson. Another long ball from Johnson for Michael Robinson to chase. Underneath it, though, is Alan Dodd. He does well to just turn the ball out of danger over on that far side, the Wolves' right. And they lay a good ball forward to Smith, and from Smith it's to Rudge in midfield. But Liverpool showing a lot more urgency in their play. Rush wrestles the ball from Rudge, then gives it to Souness, and Souness a neat ball out to this near side to Sammy Lee, just inside the Wolves half of the field. He turns it inside again to Mark Lawrenson over to the far side to Craig Johnson. Well, he finds Dalglish, and then Dalglish finds Alan Kennedy, who's up helping his attackers. Kennedy coming into shooting position with the right foot, and Burridge goes down at full length.
Yes, and Liverpool look far better to me when they're playing this short passing game. As you said in the first half, they knocked a lot of long balls over the top for Robinson and Rush to go after. I think they missed Dalglish as a target man because he sets up a lot of the play for Souness and Lee. But in the second half, Dalglish seems to be a little bit farther forward and they're playing off him more, and consequently Liverpool looking much more enterprise altogether. And
I noticed that Tony Towner is warming up on the touchline, and perhaps Graham Hawkins, the Wolves manager, considering a change, because I think he bought Towner from Rotherham for £80,000 to supply the crosses for Andy Gray to turn into goals. Well, Towner had to be content with a place on the substitute bench here, but we could be seeing him in the action here at Molineux in a few minutes' time. But Liverpool it is who continue to turn the screw, and it's Phil Neal with a throw in to Liverpool from about, well, the wrong position indeed, says referee Alan Ward of London. So he leaves it to Sammy Lee instead. About 10 yards inside the Wolves half of the field on this, the near side, the Liverpool right. Lee takes it back almost to the halfway line to find a chink maybe in the Wolves defence. Lawrenson finds it as he goes for a return from Phil Neal, midway inside the Wolves half of the field, far out though on the right-hand side. Lee then takes it up again in midfield, finds Kennedy getting himself into a shooting chance, shot coming in from him, this time off target, ball behind for a goal kick. But Liverpool, Jimmy, looking a lot better.
Yes, they do, Eddie. They're getting a lot of passes together there. 10 passes there without Wolves touching the ball, but we've got 1 or 2 scores from Rob.
Yeah, there have been 3 goals at Watford, and they've all been scored by Watford players. First of all, Ian Bolton's own goal in the first half to put Coventry City 1-0 up, and then it was Pat Rice early in the second who scored another own goal. That made it Watford 0, Coventry 2, but John Barnes has just pulled one back for Watford. Also, Clive Allen has pulled a goal back for Queen's Park Rangers at Old Trafford. It's now Manchester United 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Just to run down the other scores in our featured matches, Arsenal now 2, Luton 1, McDermott with the second goal, Ipswich 2, Tottenham 1, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2, and Portsmouth 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Thanks, Rob. 16.5 minutes of play in this second half. Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. And Liverpool coming forward with a lot more venom in this second half. Neal turns a square ball to Dalglish on the edge of the penalty area. Dalglish trying to go one way, then the other. Only finds Jeff Palmer, though, and his ball out of defence only finds Sammy Lee. Wolves looking just a little bit ragged. They're on the ropes at the moment as Liverpool, again, trying to build through Ian Rush. Tries to find Sammy Lee down the touchline on this near side, the Liverpool right. But instead only finds touch, and a throw-in to Wolves quickly taken.
Yes, and Liverpool keeping a lot of possession now. They're playing the ball around short, and the midfield players in particular, Souness, Lee and Johnston, they're moving around all over the place. And Wolves looking a little bit ragged in midfield. Liverpool completely dominating that area, and consequently Wolves can't get out of defence. I think what they've got to do, I think 1 or 2 of the forward players have got to come back to reinforce that midfield just for a little while to withstand the pressure.
Well, Liverpool have a free kick just a yard or so inside their own half of the field on the right-hand side, which Phil Neal will take, turns it back to Mark Lawrenson just about 4 or 5 yards behind him and to the left-hand side. Then a good ball from him finds Alan Kennedy. Kennedy almost a 4th attacker for Liverpool at this moment, moving forward and pulled down in a position of some danger for Wolves, some 25, maybe 30 yards outside the goal, but right in centre field. And by the looks of things, John Pender the man who Jimmy Armfield selected as probably the player who had held Wolves together at the back in the first half, is receiving some attention. And Jimmy, just at the moment, as we say, Liverpool are beginning to turn that screw, and they could do without losing John Pender at this moment.
They certainly could, yes. He's played particularly well. He's put a lot of very telling tackles in there, but he's had to do. But on that occasion there, the ball was played in to Kennedy, and he was breaking through, and he was pulled down on the edge of the D, looking in a very threatening position, because when Kennedy starts motoring forward, he's a very strong player. He's the kind of man who can finish with a shot, you know, as we saw once in the European Cup final. But at this particular moment, Graham Hawkins, the Wolves manager, must be a little worried, because Liverpool holding all the aces and looking, to me anyway, as though a second goal is imminent.
Well, I wonder if it's coming up now, because we have this free kick. It's right in centre field, about 30 yards from goal, just outside the penalty area then. Sammy Lee and Graham Souness are there, so too is Phil Neal, and close on hand Alan Kennedy and Craig Johnson. What have Liverpool got up their sleeve here? 19 minutes of play gone in this second half. Referee satisfied that the wall has retreated the 10 yards. Souness with the shot. And, well, they had something up their sleeve, but it wasn't terribly impressive, Jimmy, because that shot, well, it took its time, really, to get across the goal line for a goal kick.
That's what we call Plan F. Forget it.
Rob, more scores.
West Ham 4, Birmingham 0 now. West Ham got another goal at Upton Park. And just to remind you that the West Midlands derby at Villa Park, it's still Villa 3, West Bromwich Albion 3.
Right here at Molineux, just let me remind you once again, Wolves 1, Liverpool 1, and Liverpool coming forward with Michael Robinson just inside the Wolves half of the field. Gets Sammy Lee away with a good ball to this near side, the Liverpool right. Lee checks, turns, then puts in a cross which is beaten away, but only as far as Souness. Another cross comes in, it drops at the feet of Ian Rush, all unmarked. Oh, good shot from Rush, and a great save from Burridge. There was panic in the Wolves defence then as it dropped to the feet of Ian Rush. Burridge did well to get two hands to it, but the danger still not clear because Liverpool have a corner taken quickly. Alan Kennedy with a cross, just too long, ball behind for a goal kick, and Wolves are all at sea.
They certainly are. It looked to be a goal there. The cross coming in from the left from Souness, right to Rush. He hit it absolutely perfectly at the angle on the right-hand side. John Burridge really an instinctive save, put two hands up, and he went away for a corner. And while Wolves are sorting themselves out, Liverpool had taken it and Alan Kennedy nearly got in. But at this moment, we're all getting neck ache, actually, looking towards the Wolves goal.
Coming up to 21 minutes on the watch. Wolves 1, Liverpool 1. But here come Wolves trying to get something now themselves. Kellogg's ball forward. Oh, and it breaks for him again on the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. This time, Lawrenson and Kennedy combine to work the ball back to Bruce Grobbelaar in that goal, and he will roll it to the edge of the penalty area before kicking long down centre field with that right foot. Underneath it, Robinson. He wins that one in the air against Dodd. Manages to find Craig Johnson as well in centre field for Liverpool. Johnson moving to the right-hand side into the penalty area now. Tries to get a crossing, comes back off the legs of Jeff Palmer and goes out and behind for a corner kick to Liverpool. Sammy Lee coming over to take it because it's on the right-hand side. In fact, Johnson decides to take it short. Lee back to Souness on the edge of the penalty area. Then Souness says, have another bash with it, Lee. And Lee returns the compliment to Souness, and I'm afraid that Souness's pass was pretty wayward, and Wolves able to bring the ball away quite easily with Peter Daniel. In midfield, lovely long raking pass to the far side, the Wolves left. And Gordon Smith does well to resist the challenge of Alan Kennedy. But as he tries to send a player away on the right-hand side, the ball just comes off the Liverpool fullback's legs and out for a throw-in, which he himself has taken. Down the line. A neat turn coming in from Dale Rudge. Ball breaks on the edge of the penalty area. Shot comes in, all along the ground, no power, and Grobbelaar collects easily. No, but at least Wolves have earned themselves a bit of respite, and they might be saying now, have we weathered the storm? That was a good ball from Daniel there. That's the kind of pass that went across fully 40 yards to the far side of the ground towards Smith, and it broke up the pressure, and it gave Wolves a bit of respite. And when you do this once or twice, Liverpool have to turn back towards their own goals. They start to think to themselves, have we lost our chance, and so on. So anyway, at least Wolves have weathered the storm. Full marks though to the defence. I think Wolves' defence have held on well. Yes, they've come back in numbers whenever Liverpool have come forward, but it's Liverpool again on the attack. A long throw from that far side from Craig Johnson, back header from Ian Rush, and Burridge had to be alive and eager for that, and that's exactly what he was. manages to get both hands to it, clutch it to his chest, and he will build from the back for Wolves. Well, we've got some more scores from Rob Bonnet, and after that, to take you through to full time on this, the opening day of the season here at sunny Molineux, it'll be George Hamilton.
Brendan Ormsby has just scored for Aston Villa at Villa Park against West Bromwich Albion. It's now Aston Villa 4, West Bromwich Albion 3.
Well, they're having excitement down the road at Villa Park. They're certainly having excitement here at Molineux. Liverpool have owned this second half. Very much a tale of two halves, this match. This tale of two cities between Wolverhampton and Liverpool. But it's still 1-1, and Wolves playing right to left, trying to mount something. And they're on the right-hand touchline. John Humphrey curls in the deep cross. Andy Gray on the back post. Grobbelaar indulges in a bit of Pat Jennings heroics with a one-handed catch, plucking it away from Andy Gray, and bowls the ball out, and it reaches Kenny Dalglish in the centre circle. And Liverpool move forward, left to right. Dalglish puts through a good ball, and Burridge had to look sharpish to deprive Rush, coming outside his own area to hoof it away. The ball goes out of play, and that'll be a throw to Wolves.
Coventry City have gone 3-1 up at Vicarage Road. Now it's Watford 1, Coventry City 3. Their new signing from Spurs, Terry Gibson, the scorer of the third goal.
And we've got a substitution for Wolves. Tony Towner, the man they bought for £80,000 from Rotherham in July, has gone on, and the teenager Dale Rudge has been withdrawn from the midfield. So Towner, the Brighton boy whose career has taken him through his hometown club to Millwall and Rotherham, and now here to the West Midlands, is on for his first taste of First Division action with Wolverhampton Wanderers. And in the midfield, operating on the near side on the left. Wolves in possession, in that position with Billy Kellock. Kellock plays it to his right, to the right back Humphrey. Humphrey in the middle of the Liverpool half moves forward. They all stood away from him, but Humphrey's pass was a poor one, straight to Lawrenson. Liverpool haven't correctly cleared it yet. It takes a long ball from Souness to do that. It goes right into Wolves' territory. Palmer scurries back and heads it back to John Burridge, and the man they call Budgie bowls it back to Palmer, who's looked a competent left back, most certainly, and the man who scored the Wolves goal in the penalty spot after just a couple of minutes. And he finds Towner for his first touch. Towner can't round Phil Neal. The ball goes out, and Wolves have a throw on the near side of the field, which the bearded Peter Daniel will take 15 yards inside the Liverpool half on the Wolves left. Daniel throws it to Gray, he chests it down to Towner. Towner square to Billy Kellock. Kellock plays it forward to Mel Eves, who returns the compliment, and Kellock is now in an inside right position. Moving forward, trying to get Towner going to switch wings. Hansen goes across to cut that out, and the tall figure of Hansen towers over the 5'6" Towner, and the Liverpool man clears the ball. None too successfully though. It goes to Kellock. Kellock hits the deep cross. Gray goes in to challenge Grobbelaar, but the Liverpool goalkeeper equal to it. And a first time throw out to the right, the near side to Sammy Lee. Lee touches it inside to Dalglish. Lee was fouled. Referee plays advantage. Dalglish in the middle of the Wolves half. Now 25 yards from goal, forced to check, move to the right, has a little look, sees Michael Robinson wide. Robinson collects, edge of the penalty area, sends the cross, and Burridge flips it past the right hand upright, and relieved to do so. And Liverpool now carving Wolves apart, it would appear at will.
Yes, a beautiful ball from Dalglish. He received it on the edge of the D, and what he did, he stroked it out to the right, and Robinson, I thought Robinson could have done better, could have chipped it over there. Rush was on his own at the back post, but he decided to shoot, but it brought a save out of Burridge. Liverpool still, though, very much in control.
And they have a corner. Johnson on the left takes it. Deep one. Nobody rows. It comes all the way across the top to Lee, who's gone to retrieve. Lee with a measured cross. Burridge equal to that. On the 6-yard line. Cuts out the danger. No problem to the big goalkeeper. He looks all round. Sees what option to take. The option I'll take is to recall Jimmy Arfield.
Yes, well done, George. And I think the thing is, though, at the present time, Wolves have got to sort themselves out in the middle of the field, because that's where they're getting outplayed completely. Lee and Souness and Dalglish dropping back occasionally. They're the ones who are causing them all the problems, and the two fullbacks coming into the game as well. I see that Wolves have put Towner out on the outside left position. I've seen him play most of his best games on the right side. He's a right-footed player, and he will take people on.
Liverpool trying to win possession back on the halfway line, but not succeeding against Wolves in their familiar old gold and black, and they've brought back the old black and gold hooped stockings. They look really like the team of the 50s once more, and they're playing like them too as they move forward. The ball out to Towner on the left. Towner, though, has Neal with him. He'll do well to get this one in. He turns Neal, he turns him again, he turns him a third time, and gets the cross in. Towner, and dropping under Grobbelaar's crossbar, and touched over for a corner, and the Wolves fans are going mad. This boy, just 5 minutes into this first ever First Division match, turns the England right back 3 times, puts over such a teasing little cross. Grobbelaar, it takes all his skills as a goalkeeper to turn that one over, and Wolves have got a corner on the far side of the field, which is their right, and which will be taken by Gordon Smith. Well, that was delightful from Towner. And Smith sweeps the corner in. Not such a delightful corner cut out by Souness. Daniel tries to retrieve it, but it's Kennedy who comes away with it. Kennedy now up to halfway for Liverpool. Moving inside the Wolves half. Kennedy still driving forward. Dalglish on his left wants it and gets it. Left angle of the area. Sweeps it to the right to Rush. Rush square ball. Lawrenson shoots. Just wide of the post. Oh, my word, my word.
Plenty of excitement here this afternoon, and plenty of goals also at Stamford Bridge. It's now Chelsea 5, Derby County 0, and 2 of those goals have been scored by Kerry Dixon, Chelsea's close season signing from Reading. Those 2 goals coming on his debut.
Well, we've now got goal kick to Wolves after all that excitement. And a young man on the far side of the field engaging 4 members of the West Midlands Constabulary who, by sheer weight of numbers, have managed to remove him from the field of play, and that's the last he'll see of this match. Silly boy, because it's very entertaining. Wolves are in possession once more on the halfway line. Ball played out to the right, and the right back Humphrey is trying to make ground up there, but it's cut out by Johnson. Johnson up to halfway. Humphrey still snapping at his heels. Johnson still going forward and trying to weave away through the Wolves defence. He finds way out to the left Robinson. Robinson deciding that discretion the better part of valor there. Plays it back to Graham Souness, and Souness plays it further back to Kennedy. Liverpool now patiently trying to mount an attack in the old style, but it's cut out by Kellett. Kellett gets it up to Gray, but Wolves still very much in their own half. Humphrey now to Daniel in the middle of his own half. Daniel sweeps it to his left, and Palmer, the left back, now decides he'll show them how to get into Liverpool territory, and he does, and he tries to get Towner going. It comes off Phil Neal. Palmer goes in. A very crude challenge there on Phil Neal. That was put on call for. A bit of retaliation from Neal. The referee having to let things go while Neal argues with the linesman. Robinson on the ball. It's played to Lee now, middle of the Wolves half, and now it's with Souness. Neal caught by Palmer there unquestionably, and I think a bit silly to get involved in the old retaliation. It's Neal on the ball now. The boos tell you that the Wolves fans weren't too happy about that. What Phil Neal indulged in with Jeff Palmer. 2 wrongs don't make a right, and that appreciated by the Wolverhampton crowd. Ball now with Alan Hansen on halfway for Liverpool, moving inside the Wolves half. Played out to the far side to Robinson. Robinson has Humphrey, the right back, with him, and chips it inside to Craig Johnson, who leaves it on a shout from Graham Souness. Liverpool now slowing it down to walking pace. Played forward to Johnson once more, middle of the Wolves half. Johnson out to Robinson on the far side, and cat calls for the Liverpool players every time they touch the ball. It's now Souness. Souness helps it back out to Robinson, far side of the field. Liverpool left, level with the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Now moving back, Robinson, and back to Johnson. And they're not prepared to rush themselves, Liverpool. They're prepared to wait and see, like a good chess player, really, just where they can find a way through. It's with Souness, and he's back inside his own half now. Liverpool backpedaling, 1-1 the score, quarter of an hour to go. Plays it forward this time to Lee. Now Souness once more. Souness trying to get Rush going, gives away the possession, and now it's with Towner. Towner to take on Neal, who blocks him, obstructs him. The referee, I'm sure, will have a quiet word with Phil Neal for that. Tony Towner caused Neal all sorts of problems earlier on. It'll have to wait the free kick because Neal is going to be booked. I think all that stemmed from the clash with Palmer. First of all, the frustration of Towner going round him 3 times, then Palmer clattering into him, and finally Towner was about to go round him once more, and the England right back decided he'd had enough, obstructed Towner, and the referee, Mr. Ward, from London, put the name of Phil Neal in the book. So he's the first Liverpool player to be cautioned in this new season. And Wolves have the free kick, 10 yards inside the Liverpool half. Jeff Palmer sweeps it out to the right when Mel Eves tries to make something of it, or was it Gordon Smith? Gordon Smith it was. And what he makes is a pass to Andy Gray, who loses out, but wins a throw-in. Quickly taken to Humphrey, right angle of the penalty area, beats Dalglish. Humphrey, little ball in for Eves, but Lawrenson gets it away. Up to Robinson, who doesn't make much of it because Alan Dodd is there. Ball out on the far side, though. Throw to Liverpool midway inside their own half.
Yes, and I think the introduction of Tony Towner has helped stem the tide a little bit for Wolves, because he's provided a get-out man on this left-hand side, and when he's got the ball, it's excited the crowd as well. Then he's also kept Phil Neal in attendance, caused him to get booked there. But it's the fact that he is there out wide, you know, that has helped Wolves to get out of defence. And I've always believed that the wingers are the best get-out men in the game when you're under pressure.
Tony Towner has certainly made his first 10 minutes or so on the field of play count. For the moment we're held up because Mel Eves, the Wolves striker, is on the floor injured after challenging at the heart of the Liverpool defence. He collided there quite accidentally and with Mark Lawrenson. Jimmy?
Yes, I think another point, George, too, is that in the first half when Wolves were pushing forward, we said a lot of their balls were knocked high up towards Andy Gray. Now they've got a flank player as well. They've another channel to come down now, down this left-hand side. And the other thing is too, of course, when he gets across him, he'll be coming for a better angle for players like Gray and Eves as well, who were quite strong in the air.
Liverpool resume and send the ball away immediately to Robinson going up the left. Robinson, though, dispossessed by a combination of Humphrey and Pender. The ball is worked over to Gordon Smith on the far side. In it comes now to Kellock. Kellock back to Smith, who's on the far touchline, 15 yards inside his own half. He plays it forward for Andy Gray to chase, and Gray goes and dispossesses Hansen and wins the throw. Hansen a little lackadaisical there. He seemed to think the ball was attracted as if by magnetism to his toe, but Andy Gray had other ideas. Got in, played it off. Hansen won the throw, which is to Wolves, level with the edge of the Liverpool penalty area on the far side of the field, which is Wolves' right. Ball thrown in there to Eves. Eves can't control it. It goes behind, and it's a goal kick to Liverpool, and Grobbelaar will take it.
One other point now, too, of course, we're coming to the end of the first match. There's about, 10 minutes to go now, and this is where fitness counts for a lot. On the first match, it's always difficult because in spite of all the pre-season games you have, there's nothing like the first big competitive game. And fitness, I always found in my playing days, counted for a lot in this last 10 minutes, and this is when games can be won and lost. And of course, with the situation we have now, one each, it's a very important factor.
Liverpool have possession with Hansen just inside the Wolves half. Plays it to Dalglish. Dalglish back to Lee. Now the midway inside the half, up to Dalglish on the edge of the penalty area. Dalglish and Palmer together. Palmer in some trouble. Dalglish wins it back, but the whistle is gone. A free kick for a foul by Dalglish on Palmer inside the Wolves penalty area. And I should think the Wolverhampton contingent will be relieved about that.
Yes, and I think the way the game has gone in the second half, George, as well, I think they would settle for one each in the first game back, despite the fact that they got this goal, in the first minute.
Just to run down the scores in our featured matches: Manchester United 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1 at Old Trafford. At Highbury, it's Arsenal 2, Luton 1. At Portman Road, Ipswich 2, Tottenham 1. Watford are 3-1 down at home to Coventry City. West Ham 4, Birmingham 0. That's not a featured match, but it's certainly an interesting score there from Upton Park. And also in the West Midlands derby, it's Aston Villa 4, West Bromwich Albion 3. And into the second division, Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 2. And at Fratton Park, Portsmouth 0, Middlesbrough 1.
Wolves are back in the Liverpool half. Andy Gray indulging in some head tennis, gets it out to Eves on the right. Eves a good ball further out to Smith. His first time cross, though not a good one. Lawrenson cuts it out. And with all the skill and time that good players exude, he finds it none too difficult to get it out to Craig Johnson. Johnson up to Rush on halfway. Rush back inside to Alan Hansen. Hansen crosses halfway. 10 yards inside the Wolves half now. In midfield to Souness. Souness chips it out to the right to Robinson. But the yellow flag is held aloft on the far side by the linesman, Mr. Norman, from Stroud in Worcestershire. That signifies offside against Michael Robinson, and Wolves have a free kick.
Yes, and Robinson in his days at Preston and Manchester City and Brighton was a player who always liked the long through ball. Liverpool have tried to accommodate him in the first half, and I thought the Liverpool style broke down a bit, and he's had this tendency to run offside.
The Wolves are back in the attack again. Towner again on the left angle of the penalty area, but 3 Liverpool men close to him meant he lost out. Liverpool move up to halfway with Sammy Lee. Phil Neal has gone on a forward run, but Lee's pass is a poor one. Billy Kellock cuts it out, and Kellock plays it to the left to Towner once more. Now Neal is out of position. What's Towner going to do this time? He runs at Sammy Lee and cuts inside, then plays it to Kellock. Kellock feeds Peter Daniel. Daniel loses out to the other number 7, Kenny Dalglish. Dalglish attempts to get the pass out to Robinson. The ball goes out of play. Wolves with the throw. Daniel takes it long up to Towner. Towner takes it on his chest, hard by the touchline, just where he loves to be. Then slips it inside to Gray, 20 yards from goal. Gray tries to go round Hansen. Gray still there. Gray tries the shot, and Neal blocks it. And Gray can't believe his luck. The Wolves have a corner. Somewhere or other, Andy Gray seemed to find space in there.
Yes, he did very well, actually. He took the return pass from Towner, a lovely through ball. Andy Gray knocked the ball on the outside of Lawrenson, and he actually got his shot in, but it was Phil Neal who got his foot there and deflected it. He looked to be goal bound.
And it's the little man Towner on the near side. The Wolves left will take the corner, struck firmly. Grobbelaar punches, comes out towards Souness. Eventually it's worked back to Towner on the touchline. Towner another teasing cross. Eaves and Grobbelaar. Grobbelaar punches. It's coming out to Pender. Pender sticks up another high one to drop on the 18-yard line. Headed away there by Kennedy, who clashes heads with Phil Neal. Kennedy on the floor. Neal all right. Liverpool moving forward with rush. 10 yards inside the Wolves half. Out to the near side to Robinson. Robinson faced by Pender. Checks back, plays back to Neal, who seems to be none the worse for that clash of heads. And through Souness it goes out to Johnston on the far side. Left angle of the penalty area. Johnson facing Smith. Curls across towards Rush on the other side of the penalty area. Rush pulls it down. Back to Neal. Neal tries to wriggle away through. Comes to Rush to shoot, and Burridge to save.
Good move again by Liverpool. But I felt there John Humphrey was the man who was now limping, incidentally. He was the man who saved Wolves then, because as the ball broke loose and it came to Rush, it was Humphrey who got his foot there, and it was just enough to take a bit of the sting out of the shot from Rush, who was about 12 yards out, and it went straight into John Burridge's hands. But I think while Humphrey is receiving attention at this moment, I think it's worth mentioning that Graham Hawkins, the manager of Wolves, of course, himself was a central defender, played a lot of his time at Blackburn and Preston. I saw a lot of him there, and I think he's worked hard on these defenders. I think it was his defence that got him out of the second division last year. I saw them about 3 or 4 times. One match I can remember quite distinctly, Sheffield Wednesday, where his defence kept them in the game right through, and his defence has stood the test here today. This despite the fact too he's got John Humphrey, who's quite young, and John Pender, who's young as well. But Alan Dodd's been a useful acquisition, certainly. And the left full-back, Jeff Palmer, a very underrated player.
Included the chance to frighten the life out of Liverpool with an early goal and reduce them to a struggling shadow of their usual selves. Well, they got their point, and they did well enough to suggest that there'll be no easy visits to Molineux. Liverpool earned their share of the spoils with a goal from that arch-poacher Ian Rush, who caught Wolves cold with the first attack after the break. That equalised a sensational opener, a penalty from Jeff Palmer in only the second minute after Kennedy had fouled Gray. For the rest, it was a thoroughly absorbing contest. Wolves, spurred by that early goal, looked every inch a First Division team, with their well-marshalled defence around Pender soaking up the ineffectual Liverpool pressure. Indeed, 19 minutes had passed before the champions managed a shot on target. Similarly, it took the fillip of Rush's goal to revive the Reds. Then they did look menacing. Dalglish headed against the bar. Palmer cleared off the line. Wolves' backs were to the wall. But they did come through with belated help from Tony Towner, a tricky little winger new to the club and the First Division, whose deft touches fueled the frustration that led to Phil Neal getting booked. But that was the only sour note. It was a thoroughly entertaining afternoon.